All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down ARK Invest's massive Big Ideas 2026 report. And look, this isn't just some run-of-the-mill prediction about the future. The core idea here is that the future itself is, well, it's speeding up. It's coming at us way faster than almost anyone is ready for.
So the report's central claim is, frankly, pretty audacious. It's not just saying, hey, here's what the future will look like. No, it's arguing that the pace of change itself is fundamentally different now than anything we've ever seen before.
Okay, and here's where you can really see just how different their view is. The IMF, the standard forecast, they're looking at a steady 3.1% global GDP growth. But ARK, they're predicting 7.3%. That's more than double. And this isn't just a small disagreement. This is a completely different vision for the future. It's a future where technology isn't just adding to the economy, it's compounding and totally reshaping our reality. So the way they put it, we're not just taking one step at a time anymore, that slow, predictable climb. The whole thesis of this report is that we're about to hit a massive vertical leap in progress. We're talking about a shift from slow, incremental changes to, boom, explosive, game-changing transformations.
And they've got a name for this era, the Great Acceleration. I love the way they think about it. It's like a giant flywheel. Every single spin from a new technology makes the next spin even faster, creating this incredible, powerful compounding effect. So the big question is, what's spinning that wheel?
All right, so let's get into the engine room. What's actually driving all of this? Well, the report zeroes in on 5 key innovation platforms that aren't just growing on their own, but are actually working together to create this incredible momentum. So what are these fundamental building blocks? What are the specific technologies really at the heart of this crazy, radical shift? Let's break them down. Okay, according to the report, it all boils down to these 5 big platforms. You've got artificial intelligence, of course, public blockchains, robotics, huge advances in energy storage, and then multi-omics, which, by the way, is just this incredible field that's basically creating a high-def map of our own biology by combining things like genomics and proteomics. But here's the really crucial part. The secret sauce isn't in any one of these technologies by itself. No, the real magic, the real explosion in growth, happens where they all start to collide and intersect. This is what they mean by convergence. They're all feeding into each other in this awesome virtuous cycle. Think about it. Smarter AI makes for way more capable robots. Better batteries and energy storage, that lets us power these massive AI data centers. Every single advance in one area just unlocks a ton of new potential in all the others. And right there at the very center of this whole interconnected web, the report says there's one technology that's the prime mover. It's the central dynamo that's speeding everything else up. And you guessed it, it's artificial intelligence. I know, this idea of convergence can feel a little abstract, right? So let's look at a really fascinating, concrete example from the report. It shows how these platforms are already starting to lock together in some seriously powerful ways. And we're talking about some really unexpected connections here. I mean, who would have thought that breakthroughs in robotics would be what enables the next generation of AI? Or, get this, how space travel is actually becoming essential for training massive AI models. So it all starts with this massive, massive problem. The report points out that our demand for AI computing power is just so enormous that we are literally running out of physical space and energy right here on Earth to build and cool all the data centers we need. So what's the crazy out-of-the-box solution they propose? Launching data centers into orbit. And now get ready for a mind-bending number. The report suggests this one move could increase the demand for reusable rockets by 60 times, a factor of 60. Just think about that for a second. Advances in robotics, the rockets, are directly enabling the physical infrastructure for the future of AI. That is convergence in action. Okay, so we've got these incredible technologies converging and accelerating change. But what does that actually mean for the economy, for our jobs, for the way we even measure growth? So to really get the economic impact, we first have to talk about something our current models just don't measure. I mean, think about all the unpaid work that happens in a home every single day. The cooking, the cleaning, the organizing, all of it. It creates a ton of value, right? But because nobody's getting a paycheck for it, it's basically invisible to things like GDP. Okay, now let's introduce a humanoid robot into that same home. All of a sudden, all that invisible labor, it becomes visible. It gets converted into stuff the economy can actually measure, like buying the robot itself or paying for a service contract. And at the same time, it frees up a person's time for other things, maybe starting a new business, doing more productive work, or just having more leisure time. All of that boosts the economy. And the potential scale of this shift? It is absolutely staggering. The report estimates that if humanoid robots become common in U.S. homes, it could add almost $6 trillion to the nation's GDP every single year. I mean, wow. This is exactly what happens when these converging technologies start to make the invisible visible. All right, so for our last section, let's zoom all the way out. What does this all mean for the shape of the entire global market in the next few years? And here it is, the report's ultimate conclusion. Right now, all these disruptive technologies we've been talking about make up about 20% of the global stock market. But by 2030, and that's not far away, they're forecasting that to surge to over 60%. That's a fundamental rewrite of what drives the entire global economy. So really, the report's conclusion is a huge call to attention. This isn't some far-off science fiction future they're talking about. It's a fundamental shift that's already underway, and it's creating these massive opportunities for anyone who can see these connections being made in real time.
Which really just leaves us with one final and maybe the most crucial question of all. If this great acceleration is truly happening right now, transforming our world from the ground up, are you, paying close enough attention to actually see it as it happens?